to Le Monde. I have just gotten off the train in another new location that I've never been to today. At the moment, I am right outside the Cimetière du Pere Lachaise, which is the most famous cemetery in Paris, and probably one of the most famous in the world, to be honest. It's very fitting to be going to a cemetery for Halloween. I'm in. I found it. One of the reasons that this cemetery is so famous is because there are actually a lot of famous people who are buried here. Most notably for me, anyway, is Edith Piaf, Oscar Wilde, and Jim Morrison. However, I'm not here to come see their graves and pay homage to them. I am interested to come to the cemetery for one reason, really. I think that people create the most beautiful works of art for two reasons. Either religion or for the death of a loved one. And apparently this cemetery is really renowned for its unique tombstones and tombs and sculptures. One thing to keep in mind about this cemetery is that it's actually still a functioning cemetery, and by that I mean that people are still buried here, which I found really shocking when I realized that, because I kind of feel like when you have tours that are going through the cemetery, it makes it a little bit less respectful, almost. It's not that the tourists are being disrespectful, no one's touching anything as far as I can tell, but isn't it just weird to bury someone where tourists are gonna be flocking by every day? I have never seen a tombstone with a snake wrapped around a cross before. These are the famous Eloise and Abelard, the real-life star-crossed lovers, the real-life Romeo and Juliet, if you will. And for some reason, it's not getting any attention from the tours. This is the oldest known person in the cemetery. They died in 1143. It's almost 900 years ago. So I was actually really hesitant about bringing the camera when I came here. I wasn't sure whether it was appropriate to put something like this on YouTube, but I spent a lot of time thinking about it, and now I feel that the people who make these monuments to their loved ones do it so that they can be remembered, and I feel like they want them to be seen. So the last thing I want is to be disrespectful, but I feel like the most respectful thing you can do is to come and see them. That was a strangely enlightening and humbling experience visiting that cemetery. The sculptures weren't creepy at all, but you could really just sense the anguish and sorrow that those people must have felt when they commissioned those statues. You just really feel the raw emotion of the place, and it really surprised me. I didn't expect that. However, the day is far from over. I actually have a lot more planned today, and not enough time to do it, it would seem. So that was St. Eustace that I just stumbled upon, and if you remember, it was featured in the Da Vinci Code. So I'm on my way to Saint Chapelle. It's quite a distance from the cemetery, but it was a really nice walk. I entertained myself. It never ceases to amaze me how sidetracked I tend to get. It's now 4:30 and I have an hour and a half to get to Saint Chapelle and see it before it closes. Oh, this isn't what I expected. Saint Chapelle is closed. I thought it was closed at 6, but I guess it's closed at 5. So last entrance is at 4:30. Maybe I'll go check out Notre Dame instead. It's pretty nearby. Obviously it's closed after the fire, but I just want to see how close up I can get. I've been wondering why they have like the whole front area sectioned off of the Notre Dame, because like people could still get pretty close and walk around and still take a look at the outside, but like the whole front area is fenced off, and I was wondering why. But then I eavesdropped on a tour, and the tour guide said that during construction they used a lot of lead. So when everything collapsed, lead particles had kind of settled in the near area. so they didn't want people getting too close. I don't know how true that will be because like you can get pretty close on one of the sides, so why not all of the sides? So I don't know how true that is. Well, I have just spent a successful 4 hours getting myself distracted by random street art. I've been like an owl, I've been like looking this way. So much so that I missed Saint Chapelle. So tomorrow I have to be better at my game. Notre Dame really doesn't look as bad from the outside as I'm sure it is. It would surprise me if anyone in the public would be able to go see it in the next 10 years. That's my guess. I've actually come across a ton of street art today, so I think what I'm going to do is kind of put all of the street art that I found in Paris into a separate video because it would just be way too long, so keep an eye out for that. So tomorrow I'm once again going to be attempting to see Saint Chapelle as well as a few other things, but we'll see what happens. A bientôt!